Tyre Nichols? Is she speaking? Anybody want to help her out? Yes, go ahead. Okay, I heard two people. Is anyone clear what they said or no? Should I just share? I'm good? Okay, he was killed in Memphis, Tennessee last year by police. They held him down. Tyre Nichols? Okay. Okay, but remember the officers were not white. They were black officers. All right. All right, so the jury selection for the trial begins today. Ex-officers Tadarius Bean, Demetrius Haley, and Justin Smith Jr. are facing federal civil rights and conspiracy charges for their participation in the killing of Tyre Nichols. Jumping around. The fight to get justice for the deadly police beating of Tyre Nichols continues. Jury selection began today in the federal trial against 3 of the 4 who brutally beat and killed 29-year-old Tyre Nichols. His death sparked national outrage, triggering protests all over the country. Reverend Sharpton did his eulogy. JT and I were there. Rachel Nordlinger was there. Many of us around the nation helped to raise outrage about this, which led to a trial, which led to charges. But we have to make sure that it goes all the way through. Unfortunately, this is just the opening stages. Basically, who knows what's the prerequisite for you to be on a jury? What do you have to do? Hold on, Trees. Does anybody else know? If you don't do something, you would not be allowed to serve on the jury? Who? Say it again? One more time. It should be a resounding word. That's right. Okay, if you do not vote, you cannot serve on the jury. You know that. I hope everyone understands that. So if you're not registered to vote, you cannot serve on a jury. So they will not send you any information because you are not registered. So a lot of us want to participate and want to be part of the process, but if you are not registered to vote, you cannot do that. All right? So that's another reason why we should be, registered to vote. Okay. All right. So let's keep the family, Tyre Nichols' family, in our prayers and in our actions, of course, but just understand what's happening as far as the process with the trial. The jury selection has begun, so let's just keep an eye on what's going on in Memphis, Tennessee. All right? All right. Also, what is also important nationally this week is a remembrance anniversary commemoration. Today's the 9th. There you go, brother. Say it again. September 11th. Tony, that was what you were going to say? Okay. What? Wow. I'm going to invite you to share if you don't mind. I just wanted to, for those who were here with the National Action Network during that time, my godbrother, Minister Travis Boyd, lost his mother in the towers. Her name was Elizabeth Holmes, and we know him. He's our Canaan Baptist Church family. Reverend Dr. Y.T. Walker, who was the senior pastor of Canaan Baptist Church at the time, was the chair of National Action Network's board. And he lost his mother in the towers, so it's always, a solemn time. But that was a solemn time for everyone. If you were a part of it, if you were in New York City, I was a little girl, but I remember it like yesterday. So we just always reflect on what happened, on that evil that happened, that terrorist attack that happened. And I don't want to tie it in, but I will, because basically we saw terrorism then, and then we saw terrorism by someone else, but it was domestic terrorism. When they attacked D.C., when they attacked the Capitol, it wasn't the same violence, but basically he's not running for president. So we can't allow evil in any way, from Trump or to Osama, to Hussein, whoever you like to call evil is evil. So at the end of the day, I just wanted to tie that in and always remember those that we lost in the Twin Towers. But Brother Tony Beard, I want you to share. Basically, you can take 2 to 3 minutes, 4 minutes, to just talk about that, why that's important to remember what happened with the Twin Towers in New York City that day. If you want to come now, or you, okay, come. Let's clap him up. Let's clap Tony Beard up. Rev always jokes on him on Saturdays, so apparently he has some kind of affinity with Tony Beard. But ever since he's joined Nan, he's definitely been a joy and a storyteller and someone who shares history. So I didn't know that, but thank you for joining us, and we welcome you to share about 9/11. You want this mic, or is that on?
This work. Okay. I wrote an article up in like 2008. I've been using it ever since, because it's like I can't do anything different. So I'm going to read it right now. It's called One Fine Tuesday Morning, because it was a Tuesday. All right. One fine Tuesday morning, I woke up really tired from my facilities manager job at Landmark Education and was tempted to play hooky from work. I went anyway. I followed my morning routine to the letter. Rode a Jersey City bus to the PATH train station and headed for Manhattan. I then got myself some breakfast before going upstairs. A ham and cheese croissant and a French vanilla cappuccino, light and sweet. I got in an empty elevator and pushed the 15th floor button. Just before the door closed, a nice-looking woman got in and pressed 14. We smiled at each other and then ignored each other, honoring the Elevator Etiquette Act of 1937. No speaking to strangers on elevators allowed. She got off on 14. The door closed and then the elevator began ascending towards 15. All of a sudden, an explosive wind hit the elevator shaft. The elevator was swinging from side to side, and I had a thought. That's weird. The elevator's not bumping up against anything. The walls must be moving. That's not good. Oh, that was one of the scariest moments in my entire life. Everything in me screamed, get me off this elevator. The elevator doors opened on 15. When I stepped out, I saw all 6 elevator doors moving from the wind in the elevators. At that point, I had some serious concerns. Concerns like, what the heck was going on? And how the heck am I supposed to clean up the dust from the sheetrock in the middle of the office? Oh, my God. I could tell I was the first one in, but I still looked around. I could have been wrong. I wasn't. I was wondering what to do when I heard footsteps in a nearby staircase and thought, that's a really good idea. So I went into the staircase on the 15th floor of One World Trade Center on September 11th, 2001 at about 8:50 a.m. The staircase was crowded and no one was moving. There were only one staircase serving the entire 110-story building. Of course, the builders couldn't have imagined what happened that day was even possible. I still hadn't eaten my croissant and cappuccino, so when I was instructed to go into the next re-entry floor, I sat on someone's desktop and annoyingly had my breakfast. Like, don't bother me. Bottom line is, after I got out the building, I saw all the smoke coming out of the buildings, but I was like, I got to get out of here because I grew up in the South Bronx, and one of the things is, there's problems happening, you need to get out of the way before you become the problem. And then I ended up not getting home until almost 10 o'clock at night because I lived in Jersey City with the mass and all that stuff. But the biggest thing that also came out was I realized how much loving humanity really is. Because I was walking past Mount Sinai Hospital down in the village on the east side, and I saw a line around the building. People there just to donate blood. I'm like, how did that happen? Nobody could have organized that. And I just realized that before, the first thought we have is love, and then we have a second thought that takes away that love, and next thing you know, we're cranky or we're disgusting or we're whatever that is. So for me, ever since then, love has been the dominating thought in my mind. Because it's the first one anyhow, I might as well let it stay there. And so that's why I come here too, because I want everybody else to experience what love is.
That was good, Tony. That was good. Let's clap that up. Turn hate into love. That's good. Let's keep that the theme for today. All right, so I'll quickly go through the announcements. We did Tyre Nichols, September 11th. Jordan Neely, Patrice is going to talk about the Jordan Neely trial. Who remembers the dates? I announced it maybe a month ago. One is in September, one's in October. What happened, Damien? 17th? Right, September 17th and October 8th? Anybody remember that? All right, well, we have to help pack the court for those dates for the Jordan Neely trial. Well, not Jordan Neely, but basically it's about Jordan Neely who was killed on the train. But basically, we have to be there to help support. I know Word was with us the last time, Megan, Derek, and a few Trees, of course, Dom, and a few others. But we need more people to be out there with us downtown to help pack the court for that case. what's happening this weekend that we know of? I know LaTucker and our hospitality team and a few other of our committees are leading the efforts that's happening in Harlem. African American Day Parade. All right, who's participating thus far? All right, I am too. And Nan has our float. Who helped with that? Bill Griffin. I think he helped convene that. Okay, in the memory and the legacy of Teresa Freeman. All right, so let's make sure we have our Nan shirts, our Nan gear. A lot of people will be out there. A lot of different groups and people, our partners will be out there. So we're excited, of course, to be out there Sunday. There's also canvassing. You had your hand up, I'm sorry. Was that a question? Sister? No? You had your hand up? What happened?
No, I'm going to be in that parade.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you had a question. Okay, good. I'm glad you'll be out there. All right, this Sunday. But awesome. All ages are welcome. And we will have, of course, Nan flyers. Make sure we will be out there, but make sure you are spreading the word of what we do here every Monday, every Saturday. A lot of young people will be out there, so we need to make sure they know about the huddle and what we're doing. We also have a canvassing. Get out the vote. Teresa's out there this Sunday. Don Jones and the Political Action Committee are doing an incredible job for the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks. They've already been doing it throughout the year, but they've been doing an incredible job getting the vote out, getting the word out just about voter information, not just registering voters, but just getting out the information about the elections. Some places early voting has begun, and people just need to know about that, and to know about telling their family members in battleground states what's going on, right? Right, so again, salute to Don Jones. They are right out there if you are in Harlem on the weekend and you need somebody to have to come register to vote or to get information, or if you just want to volunteer with them. They're there from 3:30 p.m. to 7 outside of Boulevard Bistro, on 118th and 8th Avenue in Harlem. 116th and 8th Avenue in Harlem. All right, so we will be out there this weekend again on Saturday and Sunday, and we are also joining them. The links are partners. It's a few other partners that will be out there with them, and we're going to do the back to school giveaway with them on Saturday. All right, so we'll just be out there with the voter information and giving out gifts. So if you have young people who still need a backpack, I know a lot of people already started, but if they need anything, just come out there. Make sure, don't grab it and sell it. Make sure you use it for the young people. Yes, ma'am.
So for the African American Day Parade,
That's Sunday. Yep.
what time are the Nan people meeting?
So I know some people are going to the breakfast. So I don't want to give wrong information. I don't know if everybody is welcome to the breakfast. Okay. Okay. So I know some people are going to the breakfast. Everyone else I know is convening. I believe it's at 11. 110th Street and 7th Avenue at 11 o'clock. But I know Bill Griffin was one of the conveners, and Mr. Carswell, Thomas Carswell, he was here last week. But I can share his information afterwards if possible, if you need it. All right? All right, but we will be out there this weekend and next weekend as far as with the canvassing and getting out the vote. All right, I'm almost done, out of your way. I'm talking too much, I know. Anybody else, what's happening tomorrow with the election? The debate, all right. Y'all be confident in your answers. You're correct. The debate is happening tomorrow, the 2024 presidential, who is, let's see if I'm in the right place. No adults speak. Anyone under the age of 32. Who will be on the stage tomorrow? It is not a trick question. Gino, as you walk in the door. Dan or your friend, I guess, I've seen you before. What's your name? Nathaniel, who will be on the stage tomorrow in the debate? This is not a trick question. Yes, the presidential debate. Okay, Kamala and Trump. All right, I was making sure, because some people are here, but they're not really here. So I was just making sure that we were all on the same page. All right, will anybody else be in the building? This is not a trick question, but I just want to make sure we know. Is it an open debate, closed debate? Not Treese. Anybody else know? Brother Waters? Right, so it's a closed debate, right? So I think it's important. I'm not sure, we usually have a live, like showing it here, but I'm not sure Mr. Arthur, and they're doing that this year. But I hope you're going to be tuned in and watching it, because it's important not just to see the foolery, because we're going to see all the foolery on Instagram and TikTok anyway, all the crazy moments, we will see that part. But we have to make sure that we watch it from beginning to end, especially activists and advocates, because we talk about policy and we talk about, oh, well, she's the VP, but I don't know what she's done. This is the time where they hopefully will be laying out what they've done or what they want to do, what their platform really is, how well their rhythm is, how their cadence is, what they really know. And we can do it Honestly, a lot of us already know who we're voting for, but you could do it in a nonpartisan way or a non-biased way by watching the debate and basically come back next week and talk about what we feel they missed or they got. And I'm not just saying Kamala, I'm saying Trump as well. We have to hold him accountable for what he says and what they put out there as far as the GOP platform tomorrow. Same as the Democrats, right? So let's watch it, pay attention to everything that they're talking about. Pay attention to the cues, even those who are asking the questions, all right? And then pay attention to I know we love MSNBC and Reverend Sharpton because that's the, big homie, but watch how the media reports on the debate afterwards. Everyone has an agenda. So let's all stay woke because that's what we're teaching here as you watch the debate. All right? All right, I think I'm done. Oh, wait, Triumph Awards. When is the Triumph Awards in New York City? Does anybody know? Besides Lisa and Patrice. Dan. September 30th. And where will it be held? Jazz at Lincoln Center. All right. How many people have already registered for your seat? All right, that's good. Excellent. Gino, I need you to make sure you have your suit and are registered. All right, Doc? All right, good. Marcus, are you coming to the Triumph Awards? Yes, 5 years old. All right, we have to make sure the young people are in the building. But we want to make sure that y'all are registered so that there is no issues because y'all don't want you trying to cut streets out at the door. We don't need none of that. This is Reverend Sharpton's 70th, so we're coming there with love and peace. JT and Dominique are working my nerves and everyone else's by making sure this is going great, but they're doing a great job, and we're going to make sure we are there for this monumental occasion. And there will also be something happening also on the West Coast for those who are watching, and those, I don't know if y'all can get there, but I hope I can get there. But it is happening in October to celebrate Reverend Sharpton's birthday as well. Who was on the Parkway this past Monday with Reverend Sharpton or at the Labor Day Parade? I didn't make it either. But okay, good. Y'all, all right, there were some who did. Excellent, all right. And celebrate Caribbean culture. I'm glad you guys made it back safely. It was very disappointing to hear that gun violence erupted near the parade route. It's ridiculous that that's still an issue. It's been something happening for years, and it's sad that it often ends in a parade route, and it happens often after elected officials are clearly off the route. I think that's interesting. So we need to do a better job with that. CMS and other people and our officers and everybody else. All right? All right. I think I'm done. All right? What are we watching tomorrow night? Anybody remember? All right. Just making sure, short-term memory. Not up here talking to myself. All right. Goodbye, y'all. Thank you.
Come on, put your hands together again for Ashley Sharpton. She shared a lot of news. And I would like to say my apologies. We were supposed to do the Black National Anthem, but we're going to do it now. I'm going to welcome up our brother Dan, our creative contributor, to come up and help lead the first and last stanza of the Black National Anthem. Please welcome Dan, everyone.
Amen, amen. Audience, please rise. We encourage you to sing along. The lyrics should be right up here. Kim should be checking out the lyrics. Sing along, please. Amen. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the God past has taught us. Sing a song full of the faith that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we try, bitter the chestnut road, felt in the days when hope got ahead, yet with a steady hand weary feet, down to the place for which our parents died.
Thank you so much. Put your hands together for Dan, our creative contributor. Thank you for that. And thank you for those of you who weren't looking at the screen. We appreciate it. We're trying to get it that you don't even look at the screen. You just sing your hearts out. So thank you so much. Right now, we're going to have our Black History Fact of the Day, again, by our brother Dan, our creative contributor. Please welcome him again, everyone.
Amen. Thank you. The Black History Fact of the day I'm presenting is in regards to Ruby Bridges' business. It's all up in the business, y'all. The image of a young Ruby Bridges entered the all-white William France Elementary School in New Orleans made her an icon of the burgeoning civil rights movement. What many don't know is that later in life, Bridges became an activist after an unfortunate twist of fate that led her back to school, the school that transformed her life. In year 1999, the Bridges founded the Bridges Foundation, the Ruby Bridges Foundation, which works to eliminate racism and educate youth. Bridges has been honored many times over, including getting the Presidential Citizens Medal from President Bill Clinton in year 2001. In year 2011, Bridges visited the White House and viewed a famed year 1966 painting of her on the schoolhouse steps by artist Norman Rockwell alongside President Barack Obama. That fall, Bridges had to be flanked by 4 federal marshals and could not eat the school's lunches because of threats that she would be poisoned. Angry white mobs gathered daily, and threats against that little girl and her family were commonplace. While Bridges remembered feeling terrified, an interview of one of the marshals who guarded her commended Bridges on her bravery. And that ends the Black History Fact I present to you today. Amen.
Thank you so much, Dan. We're always excited to hear about some history on the actual day that we're here at the huddle. Is everyone an updated member for the year of 2024? I need to see everybody's hand up. We in some trying times. You need to be a member of the most civil rights organization worldwide. You must be a member. Have you renewed your membership? If not, this applies to you as well as those who are not members. The best way to stay informed and be in the action is to become a member of National Action Network. You can always stay informed about NAN events close to where you live by texting the word justice by your state to 59769. Stay informed of NAN events close to where you live by texting the word justice followed by your state to 5969. And we always encourage everyone, whatever you're doing on a Saturday morning, stop by here at NAN First and get some directives from our own president and founder, the Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton. He drops some jewels, he drops the mic every Saturday. So we encourage you to join us here, right here in the heart of Harlem, 106 West 145th Street, from 9 a.m. to about 11:15. So he don't hold you long. He give you the words, he give you the jewels, and he lets you go, as he says at the end. So thank you for those of you who do join us. And if you have not made it here in Harlem, we welcome you to join us. We're right here on 145th and Lenox, right across the street from a storage place, a store. We want you to come get here. And if you can't get here, always tune in. Watch us on YouTube, on all social platforms at nationalactionnetwork.net. Now is when we come up, not for announcement, but some great news. And in the back today, Marcus Al told me I'm going to be first, Patrice. I have some good news to share. So Marcus Al, come on up. This is your moment. You said, I have some good news, Treese. I said, all right, come up and tell it to us. So please welcome for our first good news, None other, Marcus Al Sharpton. And then after him, all of you, our young people first, and then our seasoned individuals can come up after Marcus Al. Hey, Marcus, tell us some good news.
My good news is that I passed kindergarten and now I'm in first grade. Yesterday was Titi's birthday.
Aw, thank you, Marcus Al. Look at that, he started us off. Anyone else want to come up and share some good news with us? Come on, I know something happened since we saw you before Labor Day. The young people can come up, or some of you seasoned folks can come up too. Come on and share. Hey, Gino.
Oh, I started high school on Friday.
Are you a high schooler? How's it going?
It's all right. It's good. I actually like it. The Labor Day parade, it was fun. My mom wanted to go back to go get some food, but I told her no, and then luckily we didn't get caught in the scene. So yeah.
All right, she followed you too, and she didn't go. So if anyone else want to come up with some good news, but I want to share good news about, Rev called him the Black Attorney General, Ben Crump. His firm advertised on patches that were worn by the U.S. Open tennis players. So on their sleeves for the U.S. Open, they had the Ben Crump logo on their sleeves, and that's major for an attorney to even be able to do that. And millions watched that U.S. Open. So shout out to Ben Crump. We appreciate you. Continue to spread the word of what you do and how you try to help this nation. Anyone else want to come up and share some good news?
Good evening, Huddle. Y'all talked about 9/11. A friend of mine, why is her name escaping me? Chevelle Mims. She, her birthday is on 9/11, and she worked in the towers that day. And something made her go to work late, so she was not in the towers. And she said to me, that was a sign. Last year, she was voted in by the people as a criminal court judge. Wow. That's great. So it's one food for her. And another thing, I've been sending out for people to come with us. Are we protesting or marching the DEI? What is it called that we're doing on Thursday? We're what?
It's a picket.
It's a picket. We're picketing. I've been sending it out to my friends. So somebody asked me, why y'all marching? What is that? And so I sent her an article and stuff. And she says she just learned that Coors Beer cut out their diversity programs.
Oh, wow. Coors Beer, Coors Light, the beer? Yeah, we gotta do something about that nationally. We the National Action Network. Thank you for telling us that. Come on, Coco, share some good news with us.
My good news was that I went to my first Juve, and at Juve, you go at 4 a.m., right? So I went on, took the train, and went out there at 4 a.m. in the morning. And I'm blessed because that's the good news, is that I didn't get shot or anything. And that I was out there early in the morning, and the float that they had this torch, and the torch was going, and everybody was in it. And I had got somebody put paint on my back, and I'm telling you, the paint went through my clothes, on my skin. But I had a really great time. It was a great experience. So I just wanted to let everybody know I was repping with Grenada on the Labor Day parade.
Thank you so much. So for those of you who don't know, Juve is the celebration that they have right before Labor Day, so people stay outside in the streets. They celebrate by throwing powder on you and paint and all kind of stuff. So people basically don't go to sleep until after the Labor Day parade. So that's what Coco was referring to. So thank you all for sharing your good news with us. We're always excited to celebrate you. So make sure, don't be shy. Maybe next week you'll get up and tell us something great that's happening to you. Right now, we're always excited when our creative contributor brings an artist here for us at the National Action Network. So to introduce our Artivism segment for today, I'm going to bring back up Dan, and he's going to let you know who's in the building and what we are excited to welcome here at the House of Justice. Please welcome Dan again, everyone.
Thank you. Tonight's talent is going to be performing dance. I'm going to let him introduce himself. His name is Nathaniel Turner. If I'm mispronouncing that, he will edify. Nathaniel, why don't you come on up and let the people know what you're dancing to. Maybe you could let us know about your inspiration, etc. And we look forward to receiving your wonderful performance by the grace of God. Amen.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Nathaniel Turner. I'm a dancer, choreographer, creative director. I performed on the world-famous Apollo stage with Static Rush and also my extended dance crew, which is Static Rush X5, which Static Rush has held second place and Static Rush X5 has held second and first place. Dancing is just give me that vibration that I can get away, express myself, connect to my higher self, and make peace with myself as well. Dancing for me allows me to educate myself, to educate my muscles. The memory for my muscles is a beautiful thing. My number one inspiration, I guess we all would know that, right? No? Michael Jackson. Is nobody higher than MJ in my book. I just want to thank the Jacksons for being authentic in all that they did. And the song I'll be performing tonight is Davido, Unavailable.
I'm unavailable, and no they see me. 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 I'm sorry for who won't be my mother. Sorry, I'm only human, so make nobody mad out. Say I carry woman, say that man way I for carry. I mean, when I talk, say every pastor, make it, you know, it's not, I got I'm unavailable, and no they see me. I'm unavailable, and no they see me. I'm unavailable, and no they see me. I'm unavailable, and no they see me.
Don't be my life. I don't have no time for you. Come see me shining like too many birds on my eyes. Changing my life for. I don't want no crowd in it. She got me growing. This foot took on my feet, but what's wrong? Stay for the worst. Look what the last got a big ballin'. Big ballin'. Stay for the worst. Look what the last got a big ballin'. Cause I'm a big ballin'. Stay for the worst. Look what the last got a big ballin'. Big ballin'. Stay for the worst.
I'm unavailable, and no they see me. I'm unavailable, and no they see me. I'm unavailable, and no they see me. I'm unavailable, and no they see me.
Come on, put your hands together again for Nate Daniel, everyone. Put your hands together again for Nate Daniel. Thank you. We thank you so much for sharing your amazing talent with us. Keep dancing, young man. Keep dancing. Right now, we're going to hop into our Did You Know articles. And of course, these are the articles we want to know. Did you know something about it? To bring up our first Did You Know today is none other than our extraordinary leader, Brother Damien. And he's going to come and talk about some reparations. So, we're going to give him a minute. And look at that, right on cue. We welcome our brother Damien. He's going to come and talk about reparations. Please welcome him, everyone.
Thank you, Sister Patrice, and good evening to the Huddle and the National Action Network. I missed you all over the week. Hope everybody had a safe and productive weekend and week as well. Today, I will be speaking about reparations and how important it is to our community and to the United States of America. And there was an article that came across me this afternoon in which I'd like to present to you on this afternoon. And it's called Reminder, Reparations. Queen Kamala Harris vowed to sign coveted bill if elected president. And the article reads as follows. The vice president's efforts to run a campaign on nothing but vibes couldn't feel away her past remarks as a declarative position on reparations resurfaced. When I'm elected president, I will, in the middle of a Venn diagram of President Joe Biden's 2020 basement bonanza and the premise of the 1990 sitcom Seinfeld hit TV show about nothing, is where one would find Vice President Kamala Harris' current campaign strategy, in which I beg to differ. I think she has a terrific strategy, and they just don't have the common sense to comprehend it, but that's my own personal opinion, as this individual has theirs. While she continued to avoid press conferences after a single softball interview and doubts remained about the upcoming debate with former President Donald Trump, a revealing clip from her previous failed White House bid confirmed the Democratic Party nominee was all in for exploring taxpayers-funded reparations. Thank God for that. Can we get a round of applause for that? In a clip shared on an X by Eric Abante, Harris could be seen at the end of her speech at the 2019 National Action Network convention, where Reverend Sharpton asks, in the area of reparations for the descendants of Africans enslaved, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, Democrat from Texas, whom we just recently lost and whom we will continue to miss as the days progress ahead. She's been a pillar in our community, and I thank her, and our community should thank her for proposing such a bill. Has proposed a bill to form a commission to study how to do reparations. If you're elected president, would you sign that bill if it came across your desk? Turning the microphone to the 10th California senator, she earned cheers and applauses when she directly said, when I'm elected president of the United States, I will sign that bill. In sharing the video, Abante drew a contrast with the discriminatory handout proposal and said that Trump gave all Americans reparations by providing a booming economy with low inflation, interest rates, affordable pricing, which is absolutely not true, because if those who follow the stock market, they would realize and understand and would know for a fact that the stock market did not move past 28,000 points for the entire 4 years that President Trump, well, while Trump was the president. But yet the moment, the same very month, the same day that President Joe Biden, along with Vice President Kamala Harris, the stock market jumped from 28,000 points to 31,000 points in one day and continued to progress to 34,000 points within that month and continues to stay within the 33,000 to 34,000 point mark. So when we talk about the economy, let's give it a round of applause to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. It stated that Trump gave all Americans reparations by providing a booming economy, again, which is not true, with low inflation, interest rates, and affordable prices. Kamala Harris is so bad at economics that she thinks grocery stores are price gouging. We all know that stores and corporations have been price gouging for years, and they've taken advantage of the fact that we had a pandemic called COVID-19, and they continue to price gouge as inflation should really be going down, but as we know, they're trying to make up for what they thought that was lost, even though that they were compensated just like many other Americans were given a $1,400 check. Many corporations were bailed out and had been bailed out in prior years prior to COVID. So when they talk about cash gouging, they're doing the same thing that many rental property owners do. They raise the rents, they raise the prices, and they pocket it. So I'm going to end with that, but to say last and not least, it's not only important that we vote and elect Vice President Kamala Harris to be the next president of the United States. It's important that we continue to register to vote and vote from the bottom down, because as far as it goes to our delegates, those are the individuals who nominate the presidents of the United States. Our city council members, our state senators, and our congressional elected officials are just as important, because without them pushing the agenda, pushing the legislation, without their support, it will never get to the president of the United States' desk. So it is important that we continue to vote. It's important that we continue to register votes to vote and give them a reason why to vote. And the reason to vote is for reparations. So thank you very much, and Black Power, y'all.
Thank you so much, Damien, for wrapping that up for reparations. Our second Did You Know this evening was coming from our founder and director. The name Tyre Hill, y'all familiar with that name? All right, Ashley's gonna come and tell you a little bit about Tyre Hill. Please welcome Ashley Sharpton.
Thank you. I don't have a question, but as I read this, some of you might have seen the video circulating on social media. Some of you have been here long enough to have remembered the fight with the NFL, with Nan specifically, and as far as the movement, there's been progression. There's more black ownership in the NFL, but it's not enough, and it's not excusing the relationship that they have with the NFL, with the police. This article is an op-ed, so it's some strong language and opinions. This is not my opinions, but I do agree with some of it. I welcome you to make a statement about the article, about what happened with Tyre Hill, the NFL, or the police, once we finish it. But there is no direct question. All right? All right. It's entitled Police Violence, Tyre Hill, and the NFL Owners Who Bankroll Brutality. Megan Briggs, no, sorry, that's the photo. It was written by Dave Zirin. Before Sunday's game, the Miami-Dade police pulled over Dolphins All-Pro wide receiver Tyre Hill outside his hometown stadium. From the video footage, it's clear that the police put Hill face down on the concrete twice. One of the officers appears to have struck Hill while the NFL star was complying with orders. Because it was filmed, the media broadcast the incident within minutes. This news overtook the game day hype before the first Sunday of the season, surely a distressing fact for NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell. After the game, one of Hill's teammates, the 38-year-old locker room leader, Calais, I don't know if I'm saying his name right, Calais Campbell, said he tried to de-escalate the situation and that the police also cited and cuffed him. Against the Jacksonville Jaguars, Hill went on to play one of his typically brilliant games, but afterward he looked shaken when recounting the experience to the press. He quietly asked the question, "What if I wasn't Tyre Hill?" You might expect the NFL to stand up for one of its most famous players, but the NFL does not cross the police. The NFL partners with the police. This is a league that blackballed quarterback Colin Kaepernick for kneeling during the national anthem to protest racial police violence after the killings of Alton Sterling and Philando Castile in 2016. It is also a league that, in the wake of outrage from all sides over how it handled Kaepernick's protests, turned to public relations instead of honest dialogue. It wanted to be seen as a force to end racism, words it emblazoned in the back of every end zone. It would play Lift Every Voice and sing before the Star-Spangled Banner. Even Sunday's news that rapper Kendrick Lamar had been chosen to play the halftime show at the next Super Bowl is a part of this agenda. And if you're surprised that the NFL would choose someone as political as Lamar, you might remember that the last time he played the Super Bowl halftime show, his lyrics about police killing civilians mysteriously disappeared. Notice what all of these gestures elide. They refused to address what Kaepernick called upon the world to confront: racist police brutality and those in uniform getting away with murder. It immediately brought to mind last week's scandal when a right-wing propagandist allied with James O'Keefe surreptitiously videotaped Washington football team vice president Rael Entienne. The O'Keefe media group is putrid, but it did catch Entienne telling truths that people behind the shield are afraid to utter. About the league's anti-racist efforts, Entienne said it's performative. It's not done out of the goodness of their heart and morality. It's done because George Floyd changed the game. I mean that the social justice efforts are a performance for the sake of public perception and not because they want to actually push progress. O'Keefe's minion asks if this kind of branding was being done to assuage liberals, and in team perceptively said no. I think it's to make as much money as possible. I think the NFL cares about the bottom line like any corporation above all else, and they don't need to really pinch pennies because they make so much revenue. Therefore, they can full prioritize DEI for the sake of good publicity. Interesting. The Washington Commanders fired in team faster than the Tyreek Hill sprint to the end zone. There were loud voices online that said Hill should not receive sympathy because of his ugly past of spousal and child abuse. So a lot of people were saying we shouldn't, we should wait because of basically he has basically a tricky past, what some are saying. While that behavior was awful, this is absurd. It is a logic that advances a reactionary line of thinking in which only a perfect victim deserves justice. The police did not know or care about Hill's past, and it wouldn't matter if they did. No one should be subject to state violence. In the current political climate, this incident matters. One presidential candidate has called for mandatory stop and frisk by the nation's police and wants to grant police full immunity from charges of brutality. For these initiatives, despite his own criminality, he has been endorsed by the Fraternal Order of Police. The other party, when faced with an opportunity to remake and rethink policing in 2020, following the murder of George Floyd, insisted on more funding for the police. And we will hear nothing from their candidate about policing. This is what they wrote, so as not to take any position that could offend the non-existent political middle. Forget the fact that every Cheney Democrat could probably fit in a phone booth. 8 years ago, amid a vacuum of leadership, NFL players started to build a movement, using their cultural visibility to fight back against racist police violence. The league killed it and offered a series of empty gestures in its stead. The NFL is run by billionaire franchise owners who are mostly Trump supporters, many of whom are bankrolling Trump's promise of unaccountable policing. They are profiting off of black bodies on the field and criminalizing them off of it. If Hill and Campbell want to understand why the police saw their lives as something less than, they can start with the owner's box. Their boss, the real estate developer, Stephen M. Ross, is a friend of Trump's and has fundraised for the former president. It all recalls the day in 2019 when mogul and rapper Jay-Z announced a partnership with the league. With Goodell sitting by his side, Jay-Z said, "We have moved past kneeling." The NFL certainly has. And by the way, have you heard that Kendrick is playing the Super Bowl? So is this a gimmick? Is it performative? What's happening here? Or do we wait to see what's going on with the player? Any comments, thoughts? Nobody? Would it be different since it's Tyreek Hill? Would it be different if it was a regular person, or does it not matter because of the NFL? Lorianne Lumsby.
Yes, so here's the problem I have with the NFL. Before I even start, I just want to give some stats real quick, okay? The NFL has 32 teams. Each team was valued last week, a minimum of $5 billion per team. The team that is ranking, that has the most value, is the Dallas Cowboys, ranked at $11 billion. The reason why their ranking is so high, they own the stadium and receive 85% of the revenues from the sales, ticket sales, everything. So this is literally the #1 business in America, the National Football League. And right now, everybody's getting ready for Monday Night Football. They are so powerful that if they wanted to, they could stop everything. We wouldn't have to kneel.
That's right.
You understand? But my issue is because, people say things like the football field is like the new plantation. I'm not going to go into all of that. But the owners are making so much money that they, if they chose to, can end everything. What Colin Kaepernick did to me, he's the Rosa Parks of our era. You understand? He knelt down for a reason. What happened to him after, that was terrible. But, shit.
She was okay. She's asleep. She went to sleep. She's okay?
we're saying prayers for that sister right there too. Okay. All right.
Carolyn, we had a little disturbance. Sister Carolyn, she's all right.
She's all right. Okay, she just fell asleep a little bit. Okay. But yeah, keep going? Okay. So yeah, with each team being worth $5 billion, I did some math. $5 billion times 32 teams. That's $166 billion, and that's taking the value of the lowest team, which was only $5 billion. So if they really wanted to change things within this American culture, corporation, they could. You understand? But again, this is corporate. And then the other thing, I've been watching CNBC since we're doing the countdown to the election, and like I was hearing you read off the list of NFL people who are Trump supporters. Watching CNBC you can view the election from the political standpoint, Democratic, Republican. Emotional standpoint, I like Kamala, I don't like Trump. Racial standpoint, African American, white. But when I'm watching CNBC, they're looking at everything from a financial standpoint. And they're looking at things as what's going to be good, not for human beings, but for business. So we need to think more on a business level, because this isn't a country, it's a corporation, and big businesses run it, which is why there's so many tax exemptions on the business level. And the workers pay all of the taxes. Think about it. When you buy something, you're paying tax. Everything you buy after your tax dollars, you're paying tax again. So you're getting tax, federal, state, local income tax. Then everything you buy has tax. You put gas in your car, you're paying it with post-tax dollars, and you're paying taxes again. So if we think more of a corporate level and actually take ourselves and turn it into a corporation, we will experience the same benefits as them. Now what's happening is they've been trying to keep this information from us. It's not going to be found in our schools, but in the advanced schools, that's where this information is. So I want to encourage everybody to do some research on starting a business and incorporating yourself and putting yourself as an employee in your own corporation, so that every time you buy something, it's with it's pre-tax dollars. If you buy a car, it's a write-off. You understand? You file your income taxes after all of those things are written off. These people driving Maseratis and all of that, they didn't pay for that. Their company paid for that. So we need to learn the tax laws, and we need to learn corporations, because the way they have this system set up, we're never going to win. There will never be change because we're not affecting their pockets. You understand? So we did the boycott the NFL, I remember, a few years ago, and that didn't really hurt them because we aren't really at the games. We might be tailgating, but our players are on the fields, but we're watching it at home on TV. We're not really buying revenues. I mean, who can really afford NFL tickets? It's not for us, but they're benefiting off of us. But if we can find a way to somehow stall their money, and we'll make them look at us, because money talks. So with that young man, had he not been who he was, it probably would have turned out differently. And if it was a case where something had turned bad, if he would have reached out to anybody in the NFL, they would have came and got him right away. Because why? He's an asset to them. You understand? So sometimes we get mistaken. They can't tell who's an asset from who they don't think is an asset, and we have to watch that. But we need to focus on corporations. We need to focus on money. Okay? That's it.
Go ahead. Before you say something, I just want to, I don't know if I fully agree, and I probably should wait to the end, but you said something about how you don't know if we are slaves. I think, well, they are slaves, considered slaves as far as the players, and that you said we won't ever win. I disagree. I think we can win. I think if we band it together more and unify more. So Colin Kaepernick, what he did, a lot of people, I've heard so much about this. I am not an NFL fans. I don't know about Colin Kaepernick's career. Everyone was like, oh, he did that to save his career. He wasn't getting a lot of player time. I don't know the statistics. I do know what happened to him was wrong. He took a stance. He did not have to take that stance. He could have been like this brother Tyreek Hill and just went and played his game and been like, oh, whatever. I could be a martyr, but I'm not. But he did. And I feel like if more people took that risk with him and the players actually understood their power and their value, because you just talked about the money. They couldn't play the game without the players, but they don't really value them. They really just, like you said, if you have a car and some money and whatever, if they throw them that, and I'm going to say something strong because I know Jay-Z is one of my favorite rappers, but they used him in the deal, basically with the NFL, as far as covering themselves against Kaepernick. They went and got the biggest rapper who made it cool to basically go to the Super Bowl again, made it cool to be like, oh, if we throw some initiatives, a few social justice groups that we just found yesterday, some money, they'll shut up. And some people did. Some people went inside and was quiet. So I think that it takes more unification, strategy, and collective outrage that's organized. And I think that we could actually win. But I feel like we can't have people like Hove taking checks from them and not really working with the people who was there to know basically how to go forward. That's all I'm going to say. But go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I think that it's a gimmick because with our recent shooting that they had in Atlanta, the shooter who killed several people and 9 people were injured, he was taken alive. Like, they have him alive. And oftentimes when it comes to our unarmed black men that are not famous, somehow they find themselves dead, unalive. And it's just so, it just has no balance, and it's on the level of ridiculous. And I think that if we put into consideration the fact that, they're putting someone that we really like to entertain us for this event, it's pandering. See, we can put it right back to the president, right? So they keep talking about, when it comes to the president, the pandering that they do to us. But that's what they're doing. The NFL is pandering to us to get this entertainer that they know we like, to try to just get us dancing and get us in a good feeling when what they do is ridiculous. I mean, it's not right. It's not fair in any kind of way. And to still go along with the dance and the party is where we are failing. Like, as a people, we should stop wanting to party. And just to throw into politics again, I remember when Bill Clinton came on and played the saxophone on Arsenio Hall. We was all calling him the first black president just because he was playing the saxophone. And I feel the only reason we really got mad in Atlanta with Kamala is because we didn't really like Megan Thee Stallion and Quavo enough. But maybe if she would have played the saxophone, we might not be having the conversation that we having, because it's really about what we like and what we don't like. Megan Thee Stallion, she was already in some problems with the shooting in the foot and everything. She brought in a person that too many people didn't like. But just like Clinton playing that saxophone on Arsenio Hall, we got to look at it. They know that everybody like that song. They not like us. But we need to look at it as, look how they killing us. Look how they're not like us. And now we shouldn't spend our money with these people or look at their stuff because they're disrespecting us. They're not treating us like humans. They're not treating us with respect and giving us any kind of dignity. And to let the music go. We got to stop dancing because we dance so much. And I just want to say, because that man playing that saxophone, everybody dancing. And we was liking Clinton with he did some messed up stuff for us. That Democrat did some messed up stuff. But we liked him because he played the saxophone. You got to remember that.
Now, some people I might not agree with everything she said, or everybody might not like what she said, but she said some facts. And in politics, I don't know, young people understand what pandering means. If you watch politics, it's pandering all over it. That's what's a part of it, all right? So I don't want you to get confused. On both sides, from the GOP to the Democrats, it's pandering. And I agree with you with Megan Thee Stallion. I thought it was too much. I really, really did. I personally, y'all didn't ask, that's not what the point of this is, but I thought it was too much. But I understand who they were trying to reach. They were trying to reach a certain target audience. I don't know if that voting bloc is going to vote, but they're trying to wake them up with that. With the shaking behind. I think that's sad, that's what they think they have to do to get their attention. But that's not the first time we've seen that, but that's another conversation. But I agree with a lot of what you said. And yeah, come on. Definitely agree with you.
Okay. What I'm present to is that we live in a world of scarcity. And what I mean by that is, it seems like no matter what your financial status is, 99% of humanity is scared. Rich people are scared that they may not be rich anymore. So they're just as desperately greedy, they're just as desperately scared of not having money work right as poor homeless people. They just laugh at the poor homeless people, but they got the same poverty mindset. Because otherwise they wouldn't be fighting to control everything and make sure you don't get what they get. It's a competition of scarcity and how to deal with scarcity. I recently read a book called The Soul of Money by, I forget the lady's name, it'll come to me. But anyhow, she talked about she used to work for the Hunger Project as the top fundraiser. And all of the rich people she got funded from, she had to have them come from a prosperity mindset rather than the poverty mindset that they wanted to keep their things the way they wanted to be. Just scared to run out of money. Everybody's scared to run out of money. They just got more money to fight against you, to protect you from taking their money. So if we could actually have a prosperity mindset, it would make abundance, which is actually two different things. That's another thing I learned. Abundance and prosperity is two different things. Prosperity is a consciousness level of, hey, this is good, I got it. Abundance is, I have plenty, but it's not the same thing as I can create it myself and I can live inside of it myself. So we need to transform that, because when we could transform this world's mindset from abundance to prosperity and love, we wouldn't have any of these problems anymore, regardless of industry. I'm complete.
Thank you, TV. Sister?
It touches my heart. Almost everything in the world is touched by Black people. Black people, you are so beautiful, so talented, and so strong, and so giving. And everything that we have, they take from us. And when it benefits them, like this football thing, I had absolutely no idea. I don't have cable, so the only time I could get the news is when I come here. It is very heartbreaking to know that those Black men built that game way before the NFL right now. There were Black people like Jackie Robinson, just to name a few. Every Black person in here has a talent that's so deep-rooted that, excuse me, this may hurt some people, that white people hate us for. And they will use that against us and use us against us. And it's a shame, Jay-Z, that you support that. As much as I want to sing real bad, get up there with Beyonce badly, I'm going to tell you, Jay-Z, I'm ashamed of you. You should not support something that hurts us. We are hurting. It is time for us to rise. Black people, we shall overcome. This too shall pass.
Thank you. And of course, like I said, Jay-Z is my favorite rapper, so I'm not coming at him directly, but I feel, and I don't think he did it to hurt us, but I think he thought he was doing something right and didn't fully understand what he was doing. And now he's in partnership with them, and when you're in partnership with somebody, like for instance, those who get funding from the city, the CMS groups that get funded for the city, they have something to say about gun violence, but if it's something else, you can't really see them because they're being funded from the city. So you can't, once you make an alliance with certain people, you can't say certain things. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't think that he is necessarily the enemy, but he is now in a partnership with them. So he can't do and say certain things and use his power in certain ways. So we have to be accountable once we get in those, big positions, and those meetings when it's just us up there, it's just one of us in the room, make sure that you have an alliance behind you or a coalition behind you of people that are actually on the ground and know what's going on so that you're not there alone and making bad deals, all right? All right, Damien?
No, I just want to.
Oh, wait, sorry. JT also just showed me the Tyreek Hill, those who have smartphones, the video just came out. They just released the video. He's gonna play it during the dinner, but it's basically he was roughed up, and I'm just curious to see before the NFL if they're gonna support him, what they're gonna do about it, if they're gonna make a statement at all. Go ahead, D.
No, I just want to thank you, Ashley, and wish you a happy birthday again. Well, definitely, most definitely. Give it up to Ash. Give it up to our mom and dad for making such a beautiful young lady.
Thank you.
I also say we can't celebrate one without celebrating the other, so let's give it up to Dominique as well.
She's on the way.
Definitely. But I just want to say thank you, Ashley, for bringing up Colin Kaepernick, because he is a symbolism of what takes place in America on a daily basis, not just in football, but in the entertainment industry, whether it's music, acting, or whatever other industry that's out there. And again, I'll bring up how back in 2000 or 1999, how we had the first National Action Network, Hip Hop Action Network, and how important it was where Reverend Sharpton had us convene all of the hip hop artists, from the rappers, the R&B singers, to the executive moguls. We had Leo Cohen, we had Russell Simmons, we had Diddy, we had Mary J. Blige, we had a host of individuals at the National Action Network down at 1941. And the purpose of the collective was to get us all together so that we could set an agenda. We were trying to deal with the issue of perhaps creating a hip-hop action network union for artists. And it was bigged up by some and knocked down by others.
I think it was the first hip-hop caucus, like the first official one.
It absolutely was. It absolutely was. And Master P was all in agreement. As we all know, he's a terrific businessman. And there were other like-minded individuals in the room, and it was knocked down by some of the record executives. And I say that to say that, going back to Colin Kaepernick, a lot of individuals don't want to stand up for what's right and for what's principled, because many of us come from either humble or poverty-stricken backgrounds. And so many of us, when we get in a position where we get that $500,000 or that $1 million, we say, we're going to go with that because I can buy my mom a new house, I can pay that child support, I can have that vacation and what so have you. But there were risks that were taken back in the 60s and in the days before that, where people sacrificed their livelihoods, sacrificed their families. Dr. King's home was blown up. Medgar Evers' home was blown up. So people have actually risked and sacrificed themselves, their families, and their livelihoods for us to be where we are today. So we owe it to not only ourselves, but to our future generations to set precedent and to make that change. Because if we don't stand up and collectively stand together against the injustices, who else is going to do it? Now, nobody wanted to rally behind Colin Kaepernick, but we can't get upset when nobody wants to, coalesce and come around this young man who just had this interaction with the police. But nobody wanted to stand for Colin Kaepernick. Now, had we set a foundation and created an institution behind that, there would have been an institution able to stand up right now for the individual who just had this interaction with the police. So I say all of us in the entertainment, athletic industry, we all really need to perhaps think about doing another forum and doing another collective and setting an agenda for this new millennium that we're living in today as we move forward in the future.
Sure.
Thank you. Black Power.
Thank you so much, D. And to end this, I just want to say, I just noticed it. I don't know why I just looked down and saw Miami Dolphins. I just saw the colors. Miami Dolphins is one of the sponsors of Circle of Mothers. Circle of Mothers is of the Trayvon Martin Foundation, which Sabrina Fulton is the founder of. Trayvon Martin was her son who was killed in Miami-Dade, right? So I just goes back to, it's crazy. That's crazy. I just think, I'm interested to see how this plays out. I'm interested to see specifically how this team, because they work hand in hand with this community, with the black community, they give money towards it. We want to see, are they just being performative, or will they handle this accordingly? And I will be reaching out to Sabrina and Javaris Fulton just to make sure that they have an eye on the ground about this case, because there's people on the ground there, so it doesn't make sense. I don't know why that just clicked, but we have to make sure that they were not also participating in performative actions as well. All right? Let's hold each other accountable, and let's keep our eye on what's going on with Brother Tyreek Hill and police violence around the nation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ashley, for wrapping up our second Did You Know? And I'm coming with our final one. So I know Ashley mentioned it earlier in reference to Daniel Penny will stand trial this fall in Jordan Neely's subway chokehold death. Judge rules. Daniel Penny, the Marine veteran accused of choking to death a man on a New York City car, will stand trial beginning October the 8th, a judge determined Wednesday. The trial will take between 4 and 6 weeks. Judge Max Wiley said. The next court date is September the 17th. Remember that date. We're going to be in front of the courthouse if we have to take up the entire block for a hearing to suppress evidence. Penny put Jordan Neely. How many of you remember Jordan Neely? Oh, wonderful. Penny put Jordan Neely in a fatal chokehold last May that lasted approximately 6 minutes and continued well past the point at which Mr. Neely had stopped purposeful movement, prosecutors with the Manhattan District Attorney's Office have said. The Long Island native has pleaded not guilty to manslaughter charges, and its attorneys have said that Neely was insanely threatening aboard the F train. Penny's lawyers have maintained he acted in self-defense after Neely, who suffered from mental health issues, started displaying what some describe as aggressive behavior. Also on Wednesday, an attorney for Neely's family said the family is holding out hope for justice. Andre Zachary and Jordan Neely's family are still suffering. Attorney Leonard Edwards said, "Justice has not been served yet, but we're holding on to hope justice will be done." Edwards called Penny judge, jury, and executioner aboard the subway car. Jordan was unarmed. He was hungry. He asked for food, and in his desperation, he was emotional. But distress does not mean dangerous, said Edwards. Penny and his attorney left without comment. Penny's lawyer had previously praised the Brooklyn district attorney for not bringing charges against a man who shot an aggressive passenger last week, drawing a comparison between the two cases. Thomas Kenoff told Fox News that the Brooklyn prosecutors made the right call by not pursuing charges against a man who shot an aggressive passenger last Thursday. If you approach it a different way, like in the video we just saw, you don't know if they have guns or knives, and the situation can devolve. Is there any cruel irony that my client, who did everything the right way, is facing charges, while others who rightfully are not? Yeah, you could say it is, Kenneth said. So we just wanted to inform you guys, September 17th, you'll hear some more words from Ashley and Reverend Ron McHenry, the liaison for our New York City chapter, as we were there for the first time when they announced his trial, and announced his case, announced his charges. We were right outside the courtroom, and we want you to join us. We will tell you the time to meet us there. It is on a Tuesday, September 17th, I believe, and we are going to be there to let the Jordan Neely family know that we will not let them down. And that was one of Attorney Hardy's dying wishes, right when we saw him that last Saturday, that he charged Ashley to make sure he wrote it on the paper, do not forget Jordan Neely. And in the spirit of Attorney Michael Anthony Hardy, we will never forget Jordan Neely. We will stand up and we will fight back. And we won't let them just sweep his name under the rug. I want to thank you all for joining us tonight for another amazing huddle. Just some things to remember. Saturday, we'll be outside of Boulevard Bistro, 116th and 8th Avenue, right in front of the restaurant. That's also when we're going to be doing our book bag drive. That's September the 14th. September 15th, some of us will be at the breakfast. We're waiting on tickets for the Nan contingent. And then we will walk over to 110th and 7th Avenue Some of us will board the float, some of us will be giving out voter material, and then we will come right back to the tables at 116th and 8 to get out the vote, GOTV, with Dawn and our political action. And as we know, this week is a very emotional week. A lot of people, a lot of families were lost, a lot of family members were lost. 9/11, as they say, lest we forget. So when you wake up on Wednesday morning, and you know, it's always a blessing to be able to leave your house in the morning and be able to go back. 9/11, they weren't able to go back. So we want to make sure that when you get up on Wednesday morning, you just call whoever family name that you know. And if you don't know a family name, you just say, Lord, continue to be with them as they have to relive it once again. So we thank you all. We appreciate you all for joining us. We will definitely see you on Saturday. Sunday, we're going to have on our Nan gear. Saturday, our Nan gear. If you don't have it, don't pressure yourself. Just still come out and help us get out the vote. But if you have your Nan gear, let's represent the most leading civil rights organization in this nation. And in that note, we're going to ask for our chaplain, Jay, to come on and close us out. We'll see you guys on Saturday. If not, we'll see you Sunday. If not, we'll see you next Monday here at our huddle. No justice.
Mother, Father, everything, God. God, you said at the bottom of the boat, you said, peace be still. And that's what we asking for. We asking for peace. We thank you for this huddle. We thank you for National Action Network, all the people that are here and those that are to come. Thank you. And bless the food. Amen.
All right, kids eat first, and then our adults are right behind them. Make sure you